We can't dwell for too long, but we want to give you our definitive top three so that you can go away, agree, disagree, offer your opinion on the group, give us your top three. So we're just going to go from 3 to 1. Cockney John, you go first. We'll both give our third choices, both give our second choices, and both our first.
Okay.
But we'll start off by giving a few honourable mentions that are not in the list. Okay, so not in my list is Home Alone. The first Home Alone.
Right, yeah.
Honourable mention. One of the GOATs. There's no doubt about it. Love, love, love it. Not in my top three.
Okay.
Love Actually. I touched upon it last week. Absolutely adore that film. Could watch it on repeat. No worries. Not in my top three. I'm going pure family friendly top three, to be honest.
Oh, I haven't.
And then the other one I've gone for would have to be, now there's been so many Christmas Carol films, right? And one of my all-time favourites, I love the Muppet Christmas Carol, but Scrooged with Bill Murray,
amazing,
is one of the greats.
Yeah.
And my brother loves it. I think he made me watch it when I was younger. It's amazing.
How scary is the Ghost of Christmas Future? Oh no, the Ghost of Christmas Future. He terrified me.
Was that the big kind of like?
Yeah, like Grim Reaper looking with no face.
Oh no, sorry. I was thinking of the big Muppet, but I'm thinking of the Muppets Christmas Carol. Like that massive Muppet. So go on, give some. Oh, and sorry, I know I don't want to hog here.
Yeah.
But again, we mentioned it last week as our forgotten gem. Jingle All the Way.
Oh yeah.
One of my all-timers. But it's probably all-time top 5. Doesn't make the top 3. Cockney John, what are you going to give a shout out to that doesn't make your list?
So the one that didn't make my list, and there's a couple obviously, but the original, The Snowman. Now, that was just an absolute classic in my house when I was little. Like, we loved it. We watched it every year on telly. But Oshin don't like it. He's just not bothered about it at all.
If he don't like it, it's got to go.
He's got to go. He can't make the top 3. I mean, and to be fair, he can't watch one of the films on my top 3. But still, you got to have something for yourself, haven't you?
And what else, mate?
But yeah, but The Snowman, The Father Christmas, which I actually got him to sit down and watch the whole thing for the first time, and he actually enjoyed it.
Is that the one that's like not very appropriate for kids?
No, it's appropriate for kids. It's the Raymond Briggs.
Is that not the one where is that not the one where he's like sat smoking?
Oh yeah, but I mean it was
gambling,
80s, wasn't it? Yeah. He goes Vegas. What else are you gonna do? It's Father Christmas, but like he's from the East End. You know what I mean? And he lives in his little 2 up, 2 down. And it's how Father Christmas spends his holiday. And if you want to have a pipe and a cigar, then let him. He's a busy man.
Oh yeah, fair play. He works hard.
He
works hard one day a week and gets all the credit.
I mean, yeah,
for other people's hard work.
So okay, so you got
so exactly, sprinkling glitter that Father Christmas, I tell you. So you're giving Snowman, Father Christmas. What about Snowman and the Snow Dog? Any shout out?
Yeah, I mean it exists. People have seen it.
Good shout out. Yeah. Right, anything else? Anything else?
I mean, sorry, my dog's just here trying to get me attention. Go away.
Get the peanut butter away, John.
Yeah, I mean, there's then really it goes into my list, you know what I mean? Because I am unfortunately one of them people that could sit there watching the Hallmark Channel all day, and I know they're rubbish and I know they're awful, and I sit there filled with self-loathing because I enjoy those rubbish films, but I do. It's just
right.
A bit of
number.
fun,
Let's get. You just love Dean Cain.
I love Dean Cain.
So let's. Yeah, to be fair, I like Dean Cain. No offense to Dean Cain if you are listening wherever you are, which I highly doubt because you'd probably be making a movie now released for next year. So let's go into our top 3. Cockney John in at 3.
In at 3, it's 1st of December, putting the tree up with the decorations, unless Oshin's with me, and that is Die Hard. And it is a Christmas movie. I don't care what Bruce Willis says. He's wrong. It's a Christmas movie. It's set at Christmas. It's on Christmas Eve at a Christmas party. It's a Christmas film. That's all there is to it. And it's a great Christmas film. And it's got the Christmas rap at the end, which is just horrible. It's brilliant.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. It is a Christmas film. And obviously, it doesn't make you feel all festive and jolly inside, but it does make you think, if anything was to go down, he's just a normal guy.
Yeah.
I could handle myself.
Yeah. Could I run through smash glass in barefoot and a vest? Yeah, I've done it. I know I
Probably, yeah. Yeah. I've done it in my dreams multiple occasions around the festive period.
I did it at uni.
So it's funny. I mean, Die Hard. You know, I didn't give it an honourable mention and it's not in my top 3 because it's actually in my top 3 of all time. So I didn't want to give it just like I didn't want to be lazy and just give it the festive option.
Yeah.
But I massively understand and appreciate Die Hard as your number 3. In at 3 for me. Didn't have the original, but I am taking Home Alone 2, Lost in New York. And let me tell you for why.
Donald Trump, you're a big
Because even though, Donald Trump, I mean, to be fair, he directed him in the right way. That's the nicest thing Donald Trump has ever done, ever. But listen, Macaulay Culkin isn't as cute as he was in Home Alone 1. Wasn't as young and as innocent. Kind of was a bit more rude, maybe a bit more annoying. But New York, simple as that. New York, Christmas time. It was magic. I've been to New York, and my dream is to go around Christmas time.
See, I went in January, and they still had a lot of the decorations up. And so it was cold.
I wouldn't want to do that. I'm not going New York on a January sale.
Well, it was my birthday, bruv. But do you know what, right?
Oh, yeah, fair dues.
Their decorations, honestly, you could have lifted them off the bench. They decorated the benches and everything. You could have just nicked them. They were all battery powered. Like, you think if it was in England, they'd have all just been lifted. But in New York, they're just like, nah, it looks beautiful. Leave it. I like that. It was nice.
Yeah, fair dues. Fair dues. But no, I mean, I think the pranks, or what do you call them, the booby traps in Home Alone 2 are far more brutal.
Oh god, yeah.
And I just think the film in general, I love the Plaza Hotel, the Talk Boy as well, which I was obsessed with.
Did you have one?
I had one. I didn't just have what, mate. I had the Talk Boy Deluxe, and I had the Talk Boy pen, which was confiscated on the first day back from school. I had to get my dad to go in and get it back for me. But yeah, unbelievable scenes. But on to number 2. Cockney John, what's going in your list as your number 2 favourite Christmas movie of all time?
Well, this is weird because I'm going Home Alone 1, bruv. It's
like
amazing. It's such a beautiful film. It's amazing. I love Macaulay Culkin. It's got so many famous scenes, slapping himself with the aftershave and screaming. When he runs away when they call him a shoplifter and he runs away from the policeman over the ice and does his little skid. Like, everything about that film was amazing.
It is a classic.
Now, did you see Home Alone 1 or Home Alone 2 first? Because I'm wondering if that might be because they are so similar. Like, because obviously I saw Home Alone 1 first, and that's my favourite. But I reckon if you saw 2 first, you'd pick 2.
Yeah, I don't know actually, because it came out, I was very young. But I do. Thing is, I love Home Alone. I absolutely love Home Alone. I maybe have watched it too many times, and then New York. I'm not gonna lie, I just love New York City. Yeah, and I love it, and I could watch it on screen all day.
Did you grow up hating Buzz? I hated that guy. Yeah. Hated him.
Oh yeah, well I don't know how you couldn't grow up hating Buzz.
He was horrible,
a true trout sniffer. He was grim as well. He was just a grim character, grim guy, beautifully played by by the man in question. But yeah, no, not for me. But do you know, it's funny because Macaulay Culkin, obviously, you know, didn't do much, did he, once the Home Alone films finished. But I saw
Devin Rattray. Devin Rattray. That was Buzz.
Oh, was Buzz. I went to watch Rambo Last Blood, right?
Yeah.
And I'm not going to lie, this was one of those moments where you say something and then you're like, oh, that's really funny. And then you start seeing it all over social media and you're like, oh my God, I came up with that.
Right.
You must have had that moment.
Yeah, so I shaved my head once and 6 weeks later Justin Timberlake did it and I thought, he knows.
Yeah, exactly like that. In Never Neverland. And so basically what happened was me and my dad went to watch Rambo Last Blood. Me and my dad, massive Rambo fans, huge Stallone fans, went to watch Rambo Last Blood, was heavily, heavily disappointed. Because if you remember Rambo 4, which was the one in like 2008, where it was in Burma, I think it was, and it was so violent, and it was amazing. And he comes and does Last Blood, and I was thinking, this is going to be sick. This is going to be amazing. Stallone, revenge, Rambo, cannot wait. And then it just was basically Rambo, because he was so old and slow, was just setting booby traps. So when I came out of the film, I turned to my dad and said, it shouldn't have been called Rambo Last Blood. It should have been called Home Stallone, right? And I was buzzing. I was like, you are a comedic genius, my friend. Right? And then suddenly on social media, weeks later, Kevin McAllister's face is being replaced with Sly Stallone, and above it, it's saying Home Stallone. And I'm like, this is a joke. I've missed out on some serious dollar. But no, Home Alone is a fair shout, and I'm sure it's amazing. Up there with many people's favourites.
Joe Pesci's brilliant in it as well, considering like everything he did before, and then to come as this like comedic character, such a different role. It was brilliant
because every role he had pre Home Alone, pretty much.
Except for like. I mean, there was My Cousin Vinny, but he was still playing like a dodgy lawyer, wasn't he? He weren't like.
Yeah, and he still swore in that, but he was, because he struggled so much to control his swearing. That's why they're retro. That's why he did that. Where that comes from. Try and to try and ease the swearing. So in it too, for me, and I don't think there's going to be any surprises here. It is the Christmas movie for all ages, even though someone on Facebook was not a fan. It's Will Ferrell as Elf.
Great film.
I mean, my only worry for Elf is because I don't really think there has been such a culturally massive Christmas movie since that. There's been some great ones. I think there's been some really good Christmas movies, like Christmas Chronicles on Netflix, very good.
Yeah, that's good.
Arthur Christmas is brilliant.
See, that's one of the ones I'm not keen on. Not massively keen on it.
Was it James McAvoy's voice?
Yeah.
Arthur Christmas, which was slightly.
No, don't get me wrong. Oshin loves it, so I'll watch it every year. But it's just not one that I'd be excited to. For it to.
I like Arthur Christmas. But and then there's Get Santa, where Jim Broadbent plays Father Christmas, who gets locked up. I don't know if you've seen that. That's really good. Obviously, take our shouts here, even the ones that are not in our top three. But I don't think there's been a bigger Christmas film than Elf. And every year, Elf memes, Elf clips. Obviously, this year, Asda have had Buddy the Elf, kind of in their advert, or it's just a clip of him from the film in it, and they've done the CGI whiz on it. And I'm worried that maybe one day it will just get kind of overdone, and it might get. I mean, I think if he was to ever do a sequel to a movie. Now, people may have a go at me here and say, he shouldn't do a sequel to Elf. Why should he do a sequel to Elf? Well, because
so we can have another one.
See it. and then if Will Ferrell was to have a kid, like a funny kid, him and his missus who he's singing with, if they were to have a kid and name it, I don't know, Jimmy, and then Jimmy was played by, I don't know, Jonah Hill, then you've got
Jonah Hill's as old as me, bruv. He couldn't play Will Ferrell's kid.
Or that kid from Stranger Things, I don't know. Jonah Hill.
Someone young. Someone young. That kid from Stranger Things. Something that neither of us know anything about.
No, I know. I just know there's one with curly hair, that's all. So yeah, Elf, I mean, it's quotable in it. Everyone talks about it. Santa, all of that jazz.
Anything with Faison Love. I'll watch Faison Love all day. I think he's brilliant.
Yeah, it's a great film. So we've come to the part of the episode on numero uno. Cockney John, what is your number one favourite Christmas movie of all time?
I've got to be in agreement with, I think her name was Claire on the group, Santa Claus the movie. Absolutely. Okay. Now, you won't remember this because you're just a bit too young. Santa Claus the movie was Elf at the time. It was that big. It was massive. It was such a popular film. I think I was just alive. When did it come out? It's 85. Yeah, so I was 2.
1985.
Yeah, so I was 2. And but I watched it. We had it on VHS, like from in my memory. I've always had it. There's never been a point in my life where I haven't had this film. And it's Dudley Moore, Patch the Elf. Very similar to the story of Elf, actually. He, except he really is an elf. But he leaves the North Pole because he thinks he's messed up, and he goes to the city, ends up in New York. And all hilarity ensues, you know. And David Huddleston is, to me, what Santa Claus looks like. Hilarity ensues, brother. But yeah, David Huddleston, who is,
well, you know
what?
I'm just going to make a Christmas confession.
Right.
Never seen it.
I can't believe you've never seen it. That's ridiculous. That is the most ridiculous
I don't want people listening to this
heard.
thinking I listen to a movie podcast with these two knowledgeable, relatively attractive middle-aged men. But I've got to be honest with you. It's just one that I just felt it looked a bit too dated. I
still hum the tune when I'm putting up my Christmas decorations. I've got Die Hard on. I'll just be sat there humming to myself, and that's how it goes. Like, and it's in the film so much, and it gets in your head. My family hated it because I used to watch it all the time when I was little. Like August, I'd be watching Santa Claus the movie, and they all used to take the Mickey out of that song, and used to because I used to hum it then as well. So, yeah, I think I ruined it for a lot of people because I watched it so much. But it is to me, it's Christmas. It's the ultimate Christmas film.
Well, I will make a promise to you and the listeners now that over the next couple of weeks, I will do my darndest to watch. You need to watch movie.
It. And let Isla watch it with you.
It was always on.
Yeah.
I will watch it with Isla, I promise. On to my number one. My number one was just a swift 9 years after John's number one. A very similar title, to be fair. You might be on the same wavelength here. It's the fantasy comedy, The Santa Claus. Tim Allen plays Scott Calvin.
It is a great film.
And this was for me just a movie of my Christmas childhood, because I always remember going to see it on cinema, absolutely loving it. And I loved it even more because my dad loved it so much. He was laughing, my dad, and I was loving just the fact that my dad was buzzing, I was buzzing.
And when your dad goes, he goes, he can't speak.
Oh, he goes big, yeah. And then, yeah, he just was absolutely buzzing about it because he loves Tim Allen. It was just amazing. I loved it, and it was pretty good effects at the time as well. Going through the chimney and all that. Obviously, you look at now, it looks well ridiculous, but at the time you were like, "Whoa, is he actually going down there?"
We watched it, and Oshin actually said, he was like, "Dad, the effects in this are so bad. It just looks so old." And I was like, "What do you mean old?" I was like 14 when this came out.
You calling old, man?
Yeah.
14. Yeah, so that is is for me the go. I absolutely love it. Now, it was followed by the Santa Claus 2. I think was 2002. Maybe the Santa Claus 3, the Escape Clause was roughly 2006, 7, 8,
Jack Frost.
something like that. They never quite hit the heights. And at the moment, actually, a brand new series streaming on Disney Plus. The Santa
I haven't
Clauses,
started that yet. Have you?
Which I've not started it even. No, just once I'm settled in the new house, that's one of the first things I will be doing. But I always remember going to see it on cinema, then coming out, and then I think it was like a year later it came out on VHS, and I went through the Tesco with my nana. And I saw it and I was going mental. I was like, oh my God, I'm going to put this on my Christmas list. I hope Father Christmas gets it me. And then, obviously opened it up on Christmas Day. There was the Santa Claus on video. And I was buzzing. The smell of a new VHS as well. Delicious. So there you have it, guys. My top 3 was Home Alone 2, Elf, and the Santa Claus. Cockney John's top 3 was, if I can remember, what was number 3 again?
Die Hard, Home Alone, Santa Claus,
Home Alone
the movie.
1, and Santa Claus the movie.